Hey, be a squid and subscribe to my mediocrity.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Trash or Treasure featuring the Priest armor sets. I say that in a plural sense because there's a few different robes we're going to check out here. So we've got the Novice Robe, we've got the White Priest, whatever that word is. We also have the Priest Hood, the Priest Robes, and the Priest Boots. So I just wanted to kind of cover all this in one little section here and get this over with. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to go ahead and start with the actual set itself, the White Priest set. So you've got the Hood, which gives you 8 resistance as well as 20 resistance to poison, frost, and fire. Not to mention you get the minus 10% to mana cost, and you get a little bit of impact resistance. Obviously, it's not a heavy armor set by any means, but it does offer some heavy resistances, which is pretty damn good for whenever you're fighting those creatures of the doom that are giving you those elemental issues. It's typically more of a mage set, so if you're trying to run lightning spells or anything realistically that it just spell wise, this armor set is pretty good starting out. You're going to want to upgrade obviously to something that gives you a lot more mana cost reduction, but for just starting out, this armor set is actually pretty good. Moving on over to the robes, you get 15 resistance, and then you also get the same 20 resistances to all the other elements, and then you also get another minus 10% to mana cost and another little bit of impact resistance. And as for the boots, it's pretty much the same thing, not a whole lot going on here or to explain. Now to put on the Novice Robes, this is kind of the weird part about the situation, because I would have assumed that the Novice Robes would have been worse than the White Priest Robes because, they're called Novice Robes and they kind of look worse, but somehow it offers actually more protections in terms of resistance, and then it also has less mana cost, but I don't really know. You're kind of trading out 5% to the mana cost reduction for more resistances, so I guess depending on your poison here, if you're like, oh, I'm getting dicked on by a lot of, whatever resistance, then I guess you can put it on and get a little bit of extra resistance. Personally, for me, I don't really care about the 5 resistance. It does nothing. I'd much rather have the mana cost reduction. So personally, I'm going to call this trash because it serves no purpose. You can easily just pick up the White Priest Robes over the Novice Robes, and the 5 extra resistance kind of makes no sense, and it doesn't really serve a purpose in this game at all, considering that just the resistances aren't that substantial. So I don't see a reason to ever pick this over the Priest Robes. Now to talk about this weird ass headpiece that I just have to showcase really quick. It is not a good looking headpiece, but that does not mean that this headpiece is not a good fucking headpiece. So we get 4 resistance, and then we have 30 resistance from top to bottom, from poison to fire. Then we get a damage bonus to lightning, frost, and fire. So this makes it extremely good with certain spells, or if you're running ice rags or anything realistically at this point. Fire rags, ice rags, lightning rags, varnishes, spells, elemental discharge from your mage build. You're running that flamethrower situation with the torch. I mean, there's a lot going on here. This hat is actually pretty fucking good, considering that it pretty much is offering no protection other than resistance to basically every elemental hazard there is in this game. So I can't deny that this is one of the better mage hats in the game. Now with that, you'll have to keep in mind that the White Priest Hood is giving you that mana cost reduction, as to where this one is giving you damage to elemental stuff. So you'll need to kind of manage that with whatever it is you're doing. If you need the mana cost reduction, White Priest Hood is your friend. If you just want raw damage or just elemental damage in particular to whatever it is you're doing, then run the Mitre or Mitre. I don't fucking know. So with that being said, I'm gonna call just pretty much the White Priest Mitre and the Hood a treasure, and as well as the rest of the White Priest robe set, it is also a treasure. I'm gonna call the Novice Robe a trash fucking armor thing. It just doesn't make sense to ever go with this over everything else, so meh, I don't recommend it. Moving on over to the Frozen Chakram. You guys have seen my Chakram run. I cleared the whole game with shitty chakrams. It was a pain in the ass, but this frozen chakram is the only thing that held it down for me in the long run. And the sooner you get this weapon, if you ever decide to put yourself through that torture, the frozen chakram is going to be your best friend. You get that 22 damage just raw out the gate, and also you get that 22 frost damage, which, believe it or not, it makes a huge difference. For whatever reason, chakrams with elemental damage, if you get the pizza chakram, you get that fire damage as well. My lord, the chakrams become so much more better whenever you have an element added onto it. So just to put things into perspective here, the frost is your saving grace. Not to mention the frozen chakram also inflicts vulnerability, so that's fantastic. Overall, frozen chakram is 100% a treasure. I can definitely say that, having done what I've done with this game in terms of running a chakram build. So yeah, it is 100% a treasure. Now moving on to the Gold Lich sword. So I don't even know where to start with this weapon. Okay, so 22 damage, 8 lightning damage, 23 impact, 1 attack speed. What do you want me to say? This thing sucks. It fucking sucks. 22 damage and 8 lightning. What are you, fucking high? You can literally get it, like, you just do one dungeon and you can replace this weapon in 1 second. I mean, this weapon makes no sense. There is no reason for you to ever use this weapon in any given scenario, unless you're like, I need to use a one-hander that has lightning on it. And even then, it's like, why? 8 lightning damage is a joke, and 22 damage is also a joke. That is like starting level weapon shit right here, and I can't recommend this. I can't. It fucking sucks. It's trash. It's 100% trash. I don't like the Gold Lich sword. I don't know about the rest of the weapons because I haven't reviewed them yet, but just this sword in general, if you need a weapon with lightning damage, you could get a fanged sword and put a lightning rag on it, and there you go. You've got yourself a lightning weapon that does bleed damage. Or you could get a horror weapon and put a lightning fucking rag on it, and then there you go. You have a lightning weapon that also inflicts poison. I mean, there's just so many things you can do to have a makeshift lightning weapon that is 10 times better than this thing. I would much rather have a iron sword with a fucking bolt rag, and I could go on and on and on. And like I said earlier, you could do a number of dungeons and walk out with a better one-hander than this thing. It sucks. It fucking sucks. So in conclusion here, boyos, Novice Robe, trash. The rest of the armor set, treasure. Frozen Chakram, treasure. Gold Lich sword, trash. And that's where we're at. So that concludes today's video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye-bye.